Well, that was fun. We almost went 20 minutes there with no audio. I had to unplug some equipment there to move in a new monitor, so things got kind of disconnected there. But that's kind of a beautiful view looking outside right now. That's looking out to the west here in this part of Texas. So that's what we got going on outside right now. So yeah, let's restart the whole run again. Okay, back to the beginning. Got the cold front moving up to the Gulf Coast there, making it through Arkansas, through the Shreveport area, and clearing most of the Texas area. And we do have Houston under the gun right now, and also Corpus Christi there. So let's check out what's going on there in Houston. We had a tornado warning up earlier in this area right here. They've taken that down, but we do have kind of what looks to me like more of a bow echo-ish structure here. And one little tornado warning hanging on for the Angleton area. So let's check out the storm relative velocity there. And I'm not seeing any high velocities really. Most of the shear is staying under the 20 to 25 knot range. So no real problems through this area, but we have to be very careful to check out the higher tilts too, because this is very close to the radar site. So you can end up with some degradation due to ground clutter. So we'll just take another look along here, and looks like maybe a little bit of rotation in this area near Liverpool. This is going to be a long Route 35 here. And I'm seeing probably about, 30 knots of shear in this area here. And that's going to be on the back side of that storm area here. Looks like a little bit of curling. So kind of a stormy situation. The leading edge already pushing out to the Gulf Coast though. So I'm checking things out here, and most of the velocities look like they're outbound. Let me try bringing up the storm motion vector a little bit. Yeah, we just don't, not seeing too much in the way of shear or circulations out there, which is definitely good news for the Houston area. But once we get up to cloud level, this is up at about 7,000 feet, we are showing convergence. See that red right here, and then the green inbounds. That's going to be the outflow boundary right in this area here. And there's what that looks like on the reflectivity right there. So probably a very dark sky looking northwest there from the Galveston Island area. It looks like maybe a little bit of rotation. I don't know what that could be, noise right there. We'll go up to 4.0 degrees. Yeah, that looks like it's got some consistency. So maybe a little bit of a spin up there. This is up at 8,000 feet, showing about 40, 50 knots of rotation right there near Jamaica Beach. So I'll go down to a lower level, and whatever that is, looks like that kind of fades out there. So definitely a very turbulent area of storms moving through, but that's going to blow through pretty quickly. And these cells out here not looking too strong at this time. Looks like the tops on those are about 20 to 25,000. Yeah, no real problems on those cells out in that area. Looks like some action out near Port Aransas and Corpus Christi, so maybe I'll pull up that radar. We'll see what's going on down in that area. Right now, only severe thunderstorm warnings. And while we wait on that, let's take a quick look at the 250 millibar chart. So here we're seeing the troughing in the central U.S. Got a very strong coupled polar front jet, subtropical jet in South Texas. 115 knots right there at Del Rio. So that's definitely helping to support some of the stronger cells and give us some strong multicellular structure on some of those. Okay, so you see how I went up to 1.3. I got rid of a little bit of the noise. See, that's 0.5. Picture looks just a little bit cleaner once we get up to those levels. And we can see this has kind of a suspect structure right here around the Rockport, Port Aransas area. The whole thing has a bow echo appearance. You see that right there. But I would expect there to be some sort of circulation in here. And this is, I think, just north of the shipping channel, northeast of Port Aransas. So the town itself is probably going to be in decent shape, except for maybe some straight line winds. Okay, yeah, we've got definitely stronger circulations in that part of Texas. And this is showing mostly outflowish type patterns. And I'm picking up 53 knots right there up at 2,400 feet. 55 at 1,400 feet. So probably some good straight line winds in here, but I don't see anything in here that looks tornadic in this area at this time. We'll go up to the higher levels and see if we might have a meso embedded up there, and not really seeing that either. So what we have here is pretty much a bow echo pushing outward and eastward, and that would be quite a sight to be there at Port Aransas watching that thing come through. Then there's the tail end in the Corpus Christi area. Got to go up to the higher tilts for that, and got this one little cell. I would have to keep an eye on that as that pushes southeastward. Velocities. This is up at 9,000 feet. Don't see any large organized mesos. So no immediate danger with that, but for now, I would definitely expect some strong winds with that as that comes through. And then as we go further west, you can see the outflow in the... Yeah, these are mostly the outflow boundaries pushing south there. Okay, over to the upper air charts. 700 millibar chart showing mostly the large upper air vortex over the northern plains. Northerly flow across the central plains pushing that front southward. And then at 850 millibars, we see that 850 front stretching from about Little Rock to Austin and then down to the Big Bend area there. Okay, then I showed on our first incarnation of this about 15 minutes ago, I was showing a little bit of the cold core convection up to the north, up in Kansas, all the way up to Nebraska. So some showery, windy weather in that area. Then as we go further south, we've got the tropical air along the Texas Gulf Coast. Now, one thing that you might notice is if you look at the cumulus field in the tropical sector out ahead of these storms. Southern Louisiana, see out here? There's kind of a southward movement. And that means we don't have much in the way of storm relative inflow. So the photographs and the low levels are kind of short. We've got only very limited shear. And that's the reason we're not seeing a big tornado outbreak with these cells. We don't have an optimal shear profile. Cold front just pushing these things eastward, and the only really good thing we've got going for the environment is bulk shear. And that's the difference between the low-level winds and the upper-level flow up at jet stream level. Okay, so let me go ahead and just advance on to the forecast, and we'll just take a quick look at the high-resolution rapid refresh. And that's going to probably just push the storms offshore. So that'll clear even Brownsville by midnight. Some activity moving into Louisiana and Mississippi. Cold air pushing in to Texas. And looks like just some scattered activity along the Gulf Coast near New Orleans from about 3 to 4 in the morning to about dawn. Other than that, it should be quiet tonight. So let me get this set up, and we'll see what's going on in chat here. We've got Andrew and Sue. Ryan reporting very, very hot weather there, 94 degrees underneath that ridge right there in Florida. High humidities. He says Georgia and Texas was pounded today. Delayed flights across the board in the southeast tonight. 81-mile-an-hour gust measured in Beeville from Justin a while ago. Justin says southeast Texas storms are winding down. We have Alexi and Funwood Tech. Robert, Kevin McKinney, Chris says tornado touchdowns in Georgia today. Yeah, maybe I'll take a quick look out there while we have the opportunity. See if I can pull up the Savannah radar here. There we go. Yeah, we got one little tornado warning there south of Hilton Head in the Paris Island area, just south of Savannah. So we'll check that out. That should be coming up here very shortly. So we'll make sure they're not left out there. Okay, let's see. Ahmed and Dow Enegan. It's a new name there. Good to have you here. And Thomas Copeland, Sarah Wood, Mark Sanchez is here. And Wheel OTC. And quite a bit of chat here, so let me just skip through here very quickly. Okay. Let's see, Juggalo made it in. Beast Gamer. And Ron Chalfant there in California. And Thomas reporting cool and rainy in western Virginia. Okay, we're waiting for a radar to come in there from southern South Carolina. While we wait on that, we'll just take a look at the forecast here. When we do the webcast tomorrow night, here's what we're going to be looking at. Wow, we're already up to Tuesday, aren't we? Okay, so for Wednesday, this is the cold air mass right here over the central and eastern U.S. So the cold front will be pushed all the way into the central Gulf and south of South Texas right there. And moving into Florida, so maybe a couple rounds of severe weather there possible for Florida. Starting to get a little bit of return flow on the high plains, but we're still not tapping the Gulf in this area just yet. Here comes that really strong Canadian system out from British Columbia and Washington. We saw very strong temperature contrasts in that area. Okay, so moving ahead to Thursday. We see the Gulf start opening up there. So we should have the dry line setting up, and we may have a chance for maybe a few cells out around possibly Childress and Altus, Abilene. Depends on how much moisture we get up in that area. The remainder of the cold front off the east coast pushes eastward. So there's all the cold air advection we have left out there on the east coast. Friday looks to be fairly quiet, but we've got cyclogenesis here in the southeast Colorado area. Gulf is definitely open, and it looks like maybe a little bit of a warm front in Oklahoma there. So even though the GFS model is not showing precip in this area, it is late May, and we've got the moisture supply open. So a lot of times you can have convection on these charts that the global models just don't catch. So probably Thursday going into Friday, we're going to see some chase opportunities opening up. And then for Saturday, here comes our next front. That made it all the way from Western Canada. Gulf is still open. And it looks like some of the moisture moves up into the Midwest area here. So we're going to see severe weather chances going up on Saturday for Missouri, for Iowa, Illinois, and part of Indiana. And maybe a little bit of a probability in Texas here. Might have a dry line set up kind of like that right there. Okay, Sunday, the front slowly makes it southward. So rain chances shift from Oklahoma and northwest Texas into Louisiana and Mississippi and South Texas. The northern end of the front, there's the warm front right there, pushes northward, and we got some moisture flowing up into that area. So possibly some severe weather up in upstate New York and Pennsylvania, Lake Ontario, Lake Erie. Again, that's going to be on Sunday. And you can see here comes some more cool air flowing southward through the plains. For Monday, we've got kind of a stationary front along the Gulf Coast right here. So that'll be my markings there for a stationary front. Most of the moisture feed should be moving up into the South Texas area, so best chances for rain look like the San Antonio, Del Rio, Corpus Christi area, kind of like what we have today. Then for Tuesday, we start building back the return flow here. So we're looking at southwest and South Texas. For Wednesday, pretty much the same picture here. Some of it is starting to sneak even further north. So we might start setting up some chances for severe weather in the Panhandle and western Kansas. So again, that's going to be the 31st on Wednesday. And there you see at midnight popping up a thunderstorm right there around the Wichita area. Then for Thursday, Gulf is wide open. And it's open season anywhere up and down the plains. This being over a week out. Good southerly flow, so we should start getting back into a chaseable weather pattern in about 1 to 2 weeks here. Gulf still open. Northern plains for the weekend of the 3rd and 4th. And then the next cold front pushes southward for the 5th and 6th, and Texas is back under the gun once again. Okay, so here's our action here in the Georgia area. Looks like that cell we were looking at earlier is pushed offshore. And that's what it looked like earlier there. So I think they'll be taking that tornado warning down here very shortly. But there's that storm. Storm relative velocity showing, yeah, definite meso. So we got the outbounds right here, the inbounds here, and the meso itself right in that area here. So definitely has that look there of a supercell, except it's offshore. And I guess the only people getting a front row seat, maybe some whales and dolphins and maybe a few boaters who are daring to take a look there off the coast. I don't know if anybody does that, but yeah, it looks like a little bit of fun there. Okay, let's see here. Justin says the cell off Port Aransas has some high and thick reflectivity values. Only a trace of precipitation at Canyon Lake. And Robert Terrell there in Lubbock reporting a big thunderstorm at 3:30. Okay. Well, I think that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out, and hopefully we'll see some of you tomorrow night, and hopefully we won't have those audio problems. I'll have that sorted out, so don't worry. Anyway, thanks, and hope you all have a good evening. Take care.